Hey guys, my name is Fabe and welcome back to another Ironstone vlog. So today is Sunday, well when I'm recording this is Sunday, and I had to go to the lab today, which is not something I do regularly. You don't have to go every Sunday in the lab or every weekend for that matter, but today I had to prepare some stuff, some cell culture, so I have something to work with for tomorrow, Monday. And so I had to go to the lab, and it's pretty empty on Sundays. Who would have known? But there were actually one or two people there. But then again, it was pretty awesome to work on a Sunday in an empty lab. It is so much more fun to work in an empty lab. But let's head in there. I recorded some footage. Alright, here we are. As you can see, always wearing the good old safety gloves. Very important. What I'm doing here is basically, well, it's a pretty basic procedure that you do to multiply a plasmid, which plasmid is basically just a circular string of DNA. So what you want to do is you synthesize your string of DNA with a different experiment that I already did last week, and then you put it into your bacteria cells, E. coli cells, that were specifically prepared to be able to absorb this plasmid. So what you basically want to do, you want this bacterium to multiply the plasmid you give it, because the bacteria are going to divide by mitosis, and every time they divide, they're going to replicate the DNA that is within them. And if you were able to introduce this new string of DNA that you synthesized before into it, it will replicate that too. So that's basically the thing we want to do right now. So I synthesized a special plasmid, and what I'm doing here right now, I'm adding 5 milliliters of medium with all the nutrients that a good E. coli bacterium needs. And I'm gonna have 5 different 5 different cultures that I start up, because not every cell actually accepts the plasmid. So basically there's a chance of it accepting it, and when I have 5 cultures, the chances are good that at least one of them has accepted the correct plasmid. That's why I set up 5 here. I put just the medium that's already pre-mixed in there. What is in there? I don't even know. Some yeast extract, some tryptone, some natrium, sodium chloride, and something else, I believe. I don't know. I don't mix these myself. They are usually mixed for the lab by a certain person who does it for everyone. And this is actually an antibiotic, ampicillin. And this shows if the bacterium or the strain that I'm going to put in the culture actually accepted a plasmid, because if they have the plasmid, they are resistant against this antibiotic. And if they didn't accept the plasmid, they are not resistant and they won't grow in these cultures. So that is a first test if they accepted a plasmid at all. The thing is, I am trying to manipulate the plasmid beforehand. So even if they accept a plasmid, it doesn't mean that they accept exactly the plasmid that I wanted them to accept. So that is why I have 5 cultures, and on Monday when I harvest these cultures, I'm actually gonna send off all of them, not all of them, some of them, to an external lab who's gonna sequence the DNA of this plasmid and send it back to me. And then they can tell me if they accept the right plasmid. But yeah, I thought it would be kind of fun for you guys to see for once how this lab work actually is going on. And that is a pretty standard procedure that everyone does. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding 5 microliters. So these pipettes, they can pipette to the microliter exact. So I'm adding just the 5 microliters to these milliliters of culture. As you can see, the pipette is a little small and a little thick, so I can't get it all the way down to the solution. And actually 5 microliters is not big enough of a droplet to drop down by itself. So what I actually have to do, I have to tilt the tubes so the medium comes up to the side, and then I can give the antibiotic in there, and then I turn it back down. As you can see, lots of fun. But that's all it needs already. And once I'm done with the last one, I'm actually gonna take out the plate where my cultures are growing on. And those are the ones that I prepared on Friday. Those are the ones that should have accepted the plasmid. But of course, I don't know if they did. And since on the plate, I think I'm going to show it here in a second. Once I got rid of the antibiotic, there it is. That's the plate. So as you can see, there's a lot of different small cultures on there. All these little dots are single cultures, and every culture was grown from a single cell, which makes them all genetically identical, and that's what you want. You don't want to have different bacteria with different genomes in your culture. You only want one strain with one specific genome in your cultures. This is the only way you can make sure that you have the right one in the end, right? So this is a little sling, I guess, and I try to pick a single culture off this plate, and you can't actually really see it, and then I put it in there, and then I try to get it off the little sling, and it should be in the medium now and ready to grow. So that's good. As I said, I picked 5 different cultures in the hope that one of these cultures accepted the right plasmid. I keep repeating myself, but I try to emphasize why I'm actually doing 5 times the same thing here, because it's not guaranteed to work even in that 5 times. And if I find out on, let me see, if I send it away on Monday, I'll probably find out on Wednesday if one of these cultures has a real plasmid, the one that I was looking for, the one that I repaired. If none of them has it, I'll have to do this all over again and have to do like 5 more and see if one of those finally will have it. Maybe, yeah, that's what I hope basically. Given that all the previous steps of the experiment went right and I actually was able to repair my plasmid. Because, funny story, this plasmid that I'm putting in there right now was actually sent from Japan to us, and after working with it for weeks, we finally found out that there was one base pair was wrong, and this base pair was exactly in the most important part in the T7 promoter region, which is very important if you want to translate the DNA or the mRNA later on. And that's why I had to basically do a bunch of PCR reactions, or PCRs, I think this R already stands for reaction, PCRs, to repair the plasmid that was already flawed. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I hope that all my experiments that went wrong before will work out better if my plasmid finally is working properly. That's the word. So that's the last one. I think am I already past this part? There was one where I wasn't quite sure if I picked it. I wasn't able to see anything on the sling, so I just threw it away and picked another one. But this is the last one, number 5. Here we go. And that is work all done. 5 cultures ready to grow for the next day. Alright, so taking off the gloves because you can't leave the lab with the gloves on, because if you are not allowed to hold any door handles or anything with the gloves, because there's always danger of contamination. I mean, the organisms we are working with are nowhere dangerous. They are genetically engineered, but not harmful in any way. So everything is alright. Now, this is another room. Those are the incubators actually. As you can see, it's at 37 degrees Celsius, and that is the optimal temperature for E. coli cells. And those are our 5 cultures. So what I do, I open it up, the shaker stops, and as you can see, there's already a whole bunch of cultures in the back. And I just add the 5 that I had to the rest. And they will grow overnight, and they will multiply tremendously. So when I look at them at the next day, you can see it's a pretty clear liquid right now. It's going to be very opaque on the next day. And that means that there are a lot of cells in there. Close it off and ready to grow. This is actually a yeast cell culture, which needs slightly different circumstances. So we have another incubator at 30 degrees for our yeast cultures. The other one that's standing in there is mine too, by the way. So I'm the only one who's using that incubator right now. I used that small culture, you can see there, that's 100 milliliters. I used that to actually inoculate a much larger culture, which was the main reason why I had to go into lab this day. I inoculated like 12 liters of culture once again. This is the other incubator for the big culture, so as you can see it's also at 30 degrees, it's shaking, and those are the 12 liters of my yeast cell cultures that I have to harvest on Monday. And I really hope that I will finally get what I want out of these cultures. So this is a little overview over the lab where I'm actually working at. This is the bench on the right where I was working at. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of insight into my lab work, into my daily lab work. If you enjoyed it, leave it a like, let me know in the comments what you think. I don't think I can record a lot more because I'm not quite sure if it's allowed. But I had fun doing it and I hope you enjoyed it too. See you guys!